Now, this one got me tight because as opposed to, I don't know, voting for the lady where you wouldn't have had to worry about any of that, you decide to overwhelmingly vote for Trump and then try and plead for him not to do the thing that he said he was going to do. Now I see why they be so mad. Now it makes perfect sense why they be so mad.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and I'm troubled.
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming. Quick follow-up as to why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways? And I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
Dang, she went and just, I didn't even get through the intro, though. I mean, you was cooking, but I wasn't. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But that's exactly what I was looking for, because I was saying, we've heard the farmers cry for help.
These tariffs, not the best thing for our country. I voted for Trump.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love. 5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
We made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
The Trump administration was expected to announce a bailout for American soybean farmers as soon as this week. But there are some fears that the government shutdown could be stalling that plan. The soybean industry has been particularly hard hit by the trade war as China boycotts the American export.
I don't believe there'll be a profit this year. I think we will go backwards. It's an endless cycle that we're caught in right now, and this is all I know.
And we have also heard the responses to the farmers' cry for help.
Oh, hey, world, did you know that America's farmers voted for the dumb fuck 78%? And did you also know that they have filed a lawsuit against the big fat fuck in the White House because, you know, Joe gave them money and Donnie took it away. So let me get this straight, you dumb fucks. Joe gave you money to bail your stupid asses out. You know, you guys couldn't pull yourself up or something from your bootstraps. It's okay for you to take the socialism, but abso-fucking-lutely not that single mom.
No shit, you voted for the tariff guy. And now Arkansas farmers want a handout. They want federal assistance. This poor ass red state that votes Republican every freaking year. They want a handout. You damn socialists. I guess you're finding out that racism sure is expansive, huh? Fucking dumbasses.
But I wanted to hear from farmers themselves about how they feel.
They're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated.
I got that. Yeah, I got that. I'm gonna put you here on one side. I just want to see if there's any, I like to be thorough when I do my videos. And I actually found another very fascinating take on the farmers. This one came from fellow creator Farm to Tabor.
Hi, I am a farmer, and something we may have been hearing a lot from farmers is we're having a big emergency financially because of the tariffs and the trade war. And something I keep hearing is we were lied to. We didn't think Trump would do this. So as someone who is a farmer and was a farmer during the Trump 2024 election cycle, in fact, I was running for office as Commissioner of Agriculture in my home state of North Carolina. Let me tell you what the conversation in agriculture was actually like. I can't recall anybody who actually thought Trump wasn't going to start a trade war. What do you mean we were lied to? Everyone knew this was going to happen. Because for one thing, he was running on starting a trade war with China again. And for another, he already did it once. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Everybody in agriculture knew this was going to happen.
Now, that is something that I've been waiting to hear from farmers, that they in fact knew what it was, and they in fact knew what they were voting for. And there is evidence to that by virtue of there's content going as far back as last year pleading with Trump not to put on the tariffs.
Gotcha, bitch.
Here, you grow corn and soybean crops. If Trump imposes 60% tariffs on China, how does that impact you?
That tariff will impact us by reducing the amount of export sales we have to China and other parts of the world, and that will impact our income and our bottom line for our farmers and for our families. And we need all the income we can right now because we're still suffering from the tariffs that were put on in his last term. That markets to China and forced us to have no place to sell our crops in the world to be able to gain an income to feed our families and to sustain our farms.
John, you farm soybeans as well. What do you think here? And are you nervous about the impacts of these potential tariffs on your bottom line?
We could lose 14 to 16 million metric tons of soy export to China if the retaliatory tariffs that were put on during the first trade war are reinstated by China. We can look for other markets, but there's no buyers in the marketplace big enough to absorb that volume.
If we can be in good trade relationships with China and they buy our products, that gives us a market to move our crops, into the marketplace and out of our bins. So we need to have all the markets we can. We don't need to have tariffs put on by anybody or increased by anyone to actually destroy our markets and end up having us not be able to pay our farm bills. It's a cycle that farmers do not need to be in today.
What did I tell y'all? They went into that booth thinking they was doing something smart. Now look, gotcha, bitch.
Now, this one got me tight because as opposed to, oh, I don't know, voting for the lady where you wouldn't have had to worry about any of that, you decide to overwhelmingly vote for Trump and then try and plead for him not to do the thing that he said he was going to do. Now I see why they be so mad. Now it makes perfect sense why they be so mad.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
No, because this hits me in a very sensitive place. Because back in the day, you know what I mean, while, Ronnie and them was running around, then his girl come crying to me. Oh, where's Ronnie at? How come he won't stay faithful? It's like, you got a perfectly good, 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing dude with glasses with tape on him right here. I would never cheat. You know what I mean? But no, she want to wait on Ronnie. I was a perfectly good option, but you choose to go after the dude who gonna cheat.
No, it's been a long fight. It's been a long fight, and I just had to have a warrior spirit, and that's all.
This "we were lied to" thing is just real interesting to watch, because if you were there, no, we were not lied to. We all knew this was going to happen, and people just assumed that free money would be there. Let's wrap up this free money conversation. In Trump's first term, he started trade wars that destroyed a lot of farmer sales, but he made it up to them by giving out free money. And I think people just assumed that would happen the second time around. Last time he was president, he still needed to get elected again. This time, it's his second term. So either we follow the Constitution and he can't run for president again, or we just throw all of that away. And then he doesn't really need votes so much anymore because we're not really doing the Constitution anyway. So yeah, he courted farmers in 2024 because he needed them. And now that he's in power, he doesn't need farmers anymore. He doesn't need us anymore. It's as simple as that.
Now, this is a really great point as well about the fact that their inability to be honest about the power that you have ceded to Trump has left you vulnerable. Now, if only there was a way to predict how he might respond when he doesn't need you. You know what I mean? Like, if only, I wonder if he's ever been sued before. Has he, any contractors waiting to get paid or anything like that? Or, any federal lawsuits, anything? I wonder how he might, when he doesn't need you. I wonder, how does he talk about his 45 administration? He ever have anything good to say about Mike Pence? That is, if only there was a way. I wonder, it is a test of character that has yet to be decided.
I got an opportunity to sit down with the farm lobbyist, and credit to him, he did actually sit down with me because I was running as a Democrat. A lot of farm spokespeople just wouldn't. And I asked him point blank, I said, hey, we all know this is going to happen. We all know this is his plan to start a trade war that is going to hurt your businesses just like it did last time. We all know this, right? And he said, yep, yeah, we know. And I said, then explain to me why we're supporting this guy. Make it make sense to me. I said, explain it to me like I'm 5, because I am a Democrat, so you'll have no trouble speaking to me like I'm 5. So let's start with that. And he said, listen, we understand there's some risks with being part of the Trump coalition. We understand there's some risks to us, but we also understand that there are going to be some benefits. And he wouldn't elaborate beyond that. But let's unpack this just a minute. What kind of benefits could that have meant, right? What kind of benefits could people have been looking forward to that might have made up for the fact that we're about to start a trade war and everybody knew it? Let's talk about what else Trump has done for farmers. He did make it easier to do slavery on farms and get away with it. And I don't even mean 13th Amendment, which is already technically legal. I mean, he made it easier to bring in H-2A workers and treat them like trash, okay? He made it easier to do that. There were some reforms to the H-2A system in 2024 because we found that a lot of people were abusing it and enslaving workers, keeping them trapped in this country, keeping them from leaving, threatening their families to force them to work harder and not paying them enough. If that's not slavery, what is? So he did that. Trump did that for farmers. He made it easier to keep people in bondage. So that's a benefit. There was, of course, the big, beautiful bill that had lots and lots of tax breaks, which farmers are really interested in because folks don't realize this, but farmers are actually quite wealthy. The majority of small family farmers at this point in U.S. history are millionaires. Most small family farmers are millionaires. So this is a group of people, farmers, who are very, very interested in tax breaks because they have a lot of estate and a lot of property. to think about tax-wise. This is something that kind of drives me nuts. As someone who came up in agriculture as a farm worker, working for farmers, people keep saying, but farmers are working class. They're voting against their working class interests. When will they wake up? Never, because they're not working class. We've had the numbers on this for decades. The USDA's had data on this for years on the internet where you could just look it up. No one's ever bothered to look. We just assumed farmers were working class because, I don't know, big trucks, because those are cheap.
Now this, I believe, is my favorite point. One thing I would object to, I can't say they all doing well. I can't say, because it was one dude I saw, he was talking to his own corn.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best corn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariff, China will not buy it. They are the only country in the world they are the only country in the world that buys corn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it, blowing it on the ground because it's useless, it's valueless, there's nothing I can do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through this crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a corn crop like this, guys. And this is just heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm going to survive. You know, Trump said he loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my corn crop all over the ground. Hopefully he works a deal out where Antarctica and Mars will start buying this corn and save the farmers. I'm sorry, corn crop, but you're fucked.
Yeah, I feel empathy with him, because I used to talk to my food. Yeah, I used to talk to my food too as a kid. And, if it's really hitting, I still might. You know what I mean? I've been known to say a word or two to the Cheddar Bay biscuits at Red Lobster. So yeah, that part is real. Now, the cost of Trump's policies have been well documented.
The price of soybeans nationally has taken a hit. One factor, due to the ongoing trade dispute, the Chinese government has instructed its importers to avoid purchasing U.S. soybeans.
Our major export commodity, our number one agricultural commodity is soybeans.
China imports an average of 61% of the world's traded soybeans, including over a fifth of U.S. exports.
At this time of year, typically China is purchasing for delivery in the fall. They haven't done that yet, and so there's a lot of concern in farm country about whether or not those exports will materialize.
The crop was also targeted in previous trade disputes with China. In 2018, China imposed retaliatory tariffs on soybeans. That dispute cost U.S. agriculture $27 billion, with soybeans accounting for 71% of those annualized losses.
And the costs to the farmers are well documented as well, where you see here 85% of farmers, according to Trump, voted for Trump in the 24 election. However, since he took over in January, 173 farms went bankrupt. Suicide among farmers has exploded to the point that there's a glut of farm equipment on the auction market.
This is without doubt one of the saddest fuck around find outs that I've ever seen.
Farmers, I love farmers. I won 80%, 85% of the farmers, and I love them, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers.
It's a silent truth happening from the current downturn.
There are 3 tractors up here that I bought on auction. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but they came off of suicide. The reason that the farmers are no longer there, the reason I've got the tractors.
An uptick in the amount of equipment coming to auction as a result of farmer suicide.
If anybody needs to talk, call your friends, call us. We don't need to sell you anything. I don't want to buy more tractors that way.
And I love them, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers.
Tariffs are having a real impact right here in the Treasure State, with farmers and ranchers feeling it firsthand. Food systems moving out of the country, prices on food and tools going up, and broken trade relations are just a handful of the issues.
Nobody wants to do business with us, whether it's Japan, Australia, Europe, Paraguay, anybody. They don't want to do business with us because they have no idea what's going to happen. It doesn't make any good business sense.
A talking point was the impact tariffs have on the mental health of farmers. An expert said it's causing more stress. According to some estimates, farmers have a suicide rate as high as 3 times the national average.
Look, we have farmers. I love farmers. I want 80%, 85% of the farmers.
It's not just Montana farmers feeling the pressure. Data from Bloomberg shows 173 small farms across the country have filed for bankruptcy since President Trump took office.
Price is going to go up for moving outside the country, and the price is going to go up for increased labor costs, and the price is going to go up because of tariffs. Good high-quality food is going to become food of the rich.
Now, condolences to those farmers that have been lost. To those that are left, how do you process what's happened to your fellow farmers? How do you process that? Because it's one thing for me to misrepresent who in fact farmers are, and these are the ones with the larger farms that are more able to sustain themselves, as she just said, in waiting for assistance. But when you see what's happened to your fellow farmers that didn't receive the assistance, that doesn't inform who exactly you're dealing with or change your level of expectation at all? Did you think there was a magical line where they would just stop consolidating and all of a sudden start to actually care about America's farmland? I'm confused as to how this process, which has been going on for decades, but certainly accelerated under his administration, leaves you feeling any level of safety.
These are the pull them up by your bootstrap people. And before you feel sorry for them, they voted for bone spurs by 78% in the 2024 election. This was up almost 50% from the 2020 and 2016 election. They almost lost their farms after 2016 when he was elected the first time, and they had to bail out the farmers because they then asked for handouts as well. Then they vote again for bone spurs in 2024. They vote for the same guy in 2024 that made them almost lose their farms between 2017 and 2021. Same guy. They vote for that same guy who created a soybean and corn crisis because of his tariffs on China. Same guy. They voted for him in exponentially higher numbers in 2024. And now they're asking for handouts again because of tariffs.
And once again, as opposed to acting to avoid this scenario that you had to be rescued from previously, you sought to jump right back in. So how are the rest of us supposed to respond in a situation like that? And by the way, I seen you taking your hat off too. I seen you taking your hat off. Don't think y'all slick, cause we know what y'all's wearing in November.
Where the fuck did all those red hats go? Y'all still them boys or nah? Out of all these images coming out of these farmer prayer sessions, I haven't seen one stitch of MAGA regalia. It's funny how all the merch disappears when he's not targeting immigrants and black folk. I guess the cult meeting got canceled when reality showed up. At the end of the day, this is the perfect case of reaping what you sow, but in this instance, the harvest is bitter.
It's the fact that I have seen no accountability, not only for empowering Trump, but for Trump himself. And if that's the case, I have no reason to think that this process has ceased. But we're supposed to contribute?
Oh, okay.
America's soybean farmers are in a world of hurt. They're going to lose their farms and their livelihoods, and they did it to themselves. And now they are begging, pleading, oh, help us. We punished ourselves because we thought Donald Trump was only going to hurt the right people, not us. We thought Donald Trump was going to hurt women and black people and Latinos and immigrants and the homeless and LGBTQ. We never thought Donald Trump would hurt us, even though Donald Trump told us on the campaign trail that he was going to raise tariffs, even though Project 2025 explicitly lays out the tariff plan and the plan to bankrupt soybean farmers all across America so that they can buy their land for cheap. Oh, yeah. And Vice President J.D. Vance owns part of an app to help buy up the bankrupt land. Come on, get real. You were either willfully ignorant, dumb, or both, America's soybean farmers. What I don't hear is contrition. I don't hear The man who was on MSNBC this morning, Scott Brown from Arkansas, soybean farmer, who's going to lose it all, I didn't hear him say, I made a mistake. I didn't hear him say, really, I knew, but I just thought it would turn out different because. He didn't say, I'm going to do something different now. He didn't say, I'm going to vote against Trump. He didn't say he was even going to start voting in his own self-interest. He's just begging for a bailout because that's what we've been doing for 100 plus years in America is bailing out our farmers. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. They can live with their decision. They can also come to the right side and they can admit that they made a mistake and they can admit that racism is expensive. And they can admit that they're not going to be racist and bigots anymore and that they're going to put not just their self-interest, but everybody's self-interest ahead of Donald Trump's and MAGA's and Heritage Foundations. But can they do it? Will they do it? Because the rest of us are waiting for them. We are here open and willing for them to take the right step and to show their humanity. No fear, only love.
Because, by the way, it's not as if tariffs and agriculture policy are the only ways in which you have been affected by this administration.
We love a great FAFO moment, and I have another one for you. First, some background. 65% of the state of Alabama voted for Donald Trump. Alabama is in the top 10 poorest states in the United States related to federal poverty level. While many of these voters sit behind their computers and celebrate Elon Musk cutting waste, little did they know it was going to impact them. This week, over 250 residents in Huntsville, Alabama received a notice from their electric company that they were going to have to pay an additional $100 surcharge. The explanation for this was that Donald Trump's recent executive order ended a $1 million grant to the utilities company to help these customers pay for their electric bill. Leaders in Alabama are furious because they said this is counterintuitive to Donald Trump's promise to lower energy costs. Tots and pears.
It's that part right there. Is that part right there. Your objection is this is counterintuitive to his promise to lower energy costs, but it's very intuitive to his policy, though, isn't it? Oh, you didn't pay attention to his policy, just his promise. He didn't actually need a plan. You believe whatever they said about her, but he didn't actually need a plan, just a promise. Yeah, he promised it. Well, this is crazy. This is not what he promised. You know what? It actually is. If you pay attention to Project 2025, it actually is. But see, I take his promises from what's written down on paper and who he's bringing in alongside him, not the stuff that he says. And you had 4 whole years to learn that lesson in the last administration.
I'm a supporter of President Donald Trump, voted for him in this election and the last, and the one prior to that. However, President Trump is about to allow JBS, the world's most corrupt beef organization, to become publicly traded in America. President Donald Trump will be the president that allows for the complete destruction of the small, independent family farms and cattle ranches.
Since they didn't learn their lesson during the last term, farmers are once again fucking around and finding out. And of course, who gave him a platform to share his feelings? Democrat Cory Booker. Say Brazilian giant JBS has a well-documented history of major corruption, bribery, price-fixing, child labor violations, environmental destruction, and other serious offenses. The Trump administration should protect America's farmers and consumers and not allow JBS to become a publicly traded company in our country. And we all warned you, we all tried to tell you, Donald Trump does not care about the average American. He does not care about the small family farmer especially.
And shout out to Farm to Tabor, because I think this is actually, I learned a lot by watching her video. And the way she ends it is actually quite appropriate.
As far as being rescued from this, my opinion is, I grew up in a pretty conservative household, and, I don't hold with everything I was raised with, but we talked a lot about letting people have the dignity of their choice. People are grown-ups. They should understand the choices that they're making with all the information available to us. And especially grown adults with a good amount of wealth, you'd assume that with that comes some insight into how to build your business. And if it doesn't, is that the taxpayer's problem to solve? Or is it an opportunity for new people with skills and maybe some more insight to get involved?
And that is the $64,000 question now, isn't it? Should, in fact, we help? That is interesting. Y'all want to make a last case?
This is the first time in my life farming that I still have crop in my bins that I can't sell. Basically, what we're getting out of a bushel of corn or a bushel of rice would be like you making $5 an hour and trying to pay your bills at home. Mexico and China are the two biggest rice buyers for the United. They buy more rice off of us than anyone. And when they stop buying rice, we have nowhere to go with the rice. It won't be a trickle down effect. It will be like flushing a toilet if the ag industry collapses. Totally 100% dependent upon the Lord Jesus Christ. I surrender it to Him.
Okay, all right, so we good then. So we good. You don't need a bailout. No, because Lord don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? So, Lord knows He ain't been seen on Capitol Hill this year. So, you know what I mean? I think we good because He said they depending on the Lord. So I think we clear on that. Hopefully your prayers are answered. A couple of mine have been. Yeah, a couple of mine have been. I have seen some changes of thought.
But some folks who aren't feeling Trump's optimism right now are American farmers, and they are stuck in the middle of all of this.
Frank, who did you vote for president?
Mr. Trump.
Right?
Trump. Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way.
Couldn't happen.
No.
You voted for President Trump. So now, in this moment, you say you're in a free fall. What is your message to him?
So I'm off the Trump train. Where I'm going for now is I got to protect my business.
Island, a wheat farmer who says he's lost $400,000 since Trump took office.
I think there was a lot of people who voted for him that want to stay loyal to him, but it's going to get to the point where financially, if it's between supporting the president or losing your family farm.
You voted for the president?
Yes, I did.
And do you support these policies which might be hurting farmers like you?
Right now, we're the ones that are taking the hit.
I think he's sort of backstabbing the main people who got him into office in the Midwest, and he just left us down.
In fact, I've had to challenge my own opinions on this one. I have.
Others are waking up, realizing they were sold a bill of goods by a man who never cared about them in the first place. The division is growing, and the irony is almost too rich. After years of chanting "drain the swamp," they're now realizing that the biggest swamp creature of them all was the one they worshipped.
If you're a Trump supporter, just know that there are 4 things that everybody who's not a Trump supporter thinks about you. And so far, you've done nothing to disprove these things. 1, you're uneducated. And I don't mean uneducated in the sense that you didn't go to school and learn to read or do basic arithmetic. I mean, you're uneducated as far as what's going on in the world. You got goggles on, only paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. Dose, you lack empathy. You don't care what happens to somebody else as long as it doesn't happen to you. Imagine for a moment the government started saying, hey, your marriage is illegal. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? But you don't care that it's happening to gay people as long as it doesn't happen to you. 3, you lack independent thinking skills, meaning you are incapable of forming your own thoughts, opinions, or viewpoints on things. You need pundit talking points from Fox News or whatever that other OAN. You need those people to tell you what to believe. You don't have the ability to look into those claims and maybe think something else. It's confirmation bias. You live in this bubble and you refuse to step outside of it. 4, and I think this is the most important one. I think this is the one you really need to work on if you have the ability, and that is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to look at a situation and say to yourself, you know what, that's kind of fucked up. That's not right, and you can't do that. So I look forward to all the laughing emoji reactions to this video because the people that I just made these claims about don't have the ability to defend themselves. So if they do so, just put the laughing emoji. So fire away.
He said emoji, didn't he? Oh, snap. I hope he don't come for me. Thank you guys so much for supporting the content and for keeping the energy from September pushing all the way into October.
Wake me up when September ends.
Pale September.
Wait a minute. No, I said October. We supposed to be doing October. What you mean ain't no October songs? No. October is the best month of the year. You got Halloween, which is the best of the holidays because you don't have no disappointments. Ain't like Thanksgiving where you got your family asking why you ain't found nobody, or Christmas where you got to do math to make sure you don't end up in the negatives with the gift giving. Everybody loves candy. I know everybody loves candy, and your aunties get a re-up because it's about time they got some new candy because they be giving you that same peppermint candy since you was 7 from the bottom of that purse. They need some new candy, and Halloween is the perfect time to do so. You got the beautiful fall foliage and the changing color of the leaves. The weather opens up your whole entire closet. You can wear whatever you want, not to mention it is Libra season, and Libras make the world go round. If it weren't for Libras, we be all out of whack. When's my birthday? It's October. Why? I can be unbiased. I be unbiased here every day. Just because it's my birthday. I mean, that maybe have a little something to do with it, but not a whole lot. And by the way, while we're talking about the greatest, I do want to give a shout out to Regina, who's been working extremely hard on the newsletter. Make sure you send me your feedback on things that you would like to see in the newsletter. You can sign up for that at patreon.com/Reese Waters. And I must tell you how touched I was. I had some issues with the platform and had to do a late night impromptu premiere the other day, and almost 1,500 people showed up. No warning, on a Saturday at like 11 o'clock at night. Not to mention the fact that lovely Nola was able to show up and be a mod at that particular premiere. And I'm going to tell you, it was rough. It was rough. Yeah, she was out there, and she was out there like Atlas. Yeah, it was bad. It was like Sunny at the Causeway. She got lit up like Canelo. But you know what? She made it. And it's that kind of jumping in and lending a hand, and all you guys that came in that were so supportive at that particular premiere. I just want to say that really touched my heart, and I want to say thank you. I got to send some love to Tiger in Kentucky. She reached out to me some time ago and said that she builds models and she wanted to build one for me. And I said, you know what? I would be honored. I have room in the back. I would love to see one. And I thought a live unboxing would be the way to go. Now, it might have been helpful if I would at least loosen the box. Tiger, thank you so much. This is awesome. You sent me a note as well. I'm looking very forward to putting this together and finding a spot for it in the back. And you never know. I got little ones. I might start a whole collection of little figurines. Huh? No, they can't touch mine. No, I'm going to be just like my aunties and uncles were for me. No, you come in, you sit down, you don't touch nothing. Matter of fact, in a year, I'm putting plastic on that couch.